All right, you're good to go.
Okay. So, first question is, what did you learn about standards of beauty based on culture? So Susanna said, she said, the ultimate of beauty is different as in term of races and culture. For example, cultures, they're embracing white skin, skinny figure, and tall women, whereas some cultures, they're all about the curves in a woman's figure, brown skin, etc.
Nice. So wait, what was the question again? It was, what did you learn?
About standards of beauty based on culture.
Right on. Yeah, I thought it was interesting, like the two Korean ones, how they're talking about all the different things that they like change about their body. And a couple of them were pretty unique, like the fact that she said they don't care much about their teeth, which I feel like in the US is like a huge thing, like she was saying. And then the other thing that was like pretty unique, oh, like the really white skin. I thought that was kind of like a unique thing because I feel like most people like to be tan and whatever. But I thought it was funny how like most of the things it seemed like they were changing to be more like American culture, maybe like how their eyes they're like super different, like the fold, the eyelid, and then the fold right here, and they changed that to look more like this.
Yeah.
And the nose, like bringing this part back into their nose. And there was like another thing. So I thought that was interesting that they're just like changing a lot of things about their beauty. It seemed like they wanted to match that, but maybe that's just what they think overall. I don't know.
No, I definitely agree because I noticed that too. Like even like all the things that she was explaining in the video, she was like, "Oh, they don't have this, but they want it, and they don't have this, but they want it, and they don't have like." So it's like all the things that like Americans have, I guess, that they don't have. So I would agree. Like it seemed like they were trying to like be more like, I don't know, white people, I guess. But yeah, and it said part of the question I forgot to say, it says, "Is there overlap?" So I think there's definitely overlap because like, well, with the figure, I feel like it was like kind of similar to how ours are, like the X shape, so it goes like that, and then like the S shape or whatever. I feel like we have the same type of thing. Like it's attractive to be like really skinny or to be, yeah, like the S shape. So I feel like that like overlaps with like other cultures, except for when it came to like the fat black lady and brown lady, like they weren't like that. So I think that like, yeah, like it kind of shows like some cultures like want to be certain ways and then other cultures want to be different ways. So they definitely have like different ways of like defining what's beautiful. Did you think that the poems about the black lady and the brown lady were like empowering them, like saying that they were like being beautiful?
I thought that. I think I thought that about the New Zealand one, the brown one,
Yeah.
a little bit because it's like at the end she's like, but the fat brown woman will keep swaying her hip all the way to town, like she's owning it, kind of. But yeah, I don't know what the fat black one.
That's how I felt too. I was like, I think that the one it was New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was talking about how like there was like men that were always surrounding her and like people were always like looking at her and stuff. So I was like, okay, I think that's a good thing. But then for the other one, the black one, I was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, because she's watching. Wait, where did it go? Oh yeah, like it just all seems pretty negative. Like she can't find clothes in the winter. Um, when it comes to fashion, it's lean. Like there's nothing for her. She feels out of place, kind of. And then she's like watching Miss World. Hopeful despair. Yeah, it all just seems
Like she's really sad
like
about it.
negative and sad, and then at the end she just gets up, pours some gin, toasting herself as a likely win. Oh, I didn't even as a likely win.
I like wondered that if that was like sarcasm, like you're so like mad about it, so you're just like, well, cheers to like whatever I am.
Yeah, maybe that's it. She's like, yeah, here I go. Like, I'll for sure win this thing, not. Or maybe, yeah, I don't know. I'd probably go with that.
It's kind of like what I took it as, but I mean, I don't know. That one's like more confusing for me.
Totally.
But yeah. Okay, so the next one is do certain standards of translate from one culture to another or not? Do certain standards. I think, well, yeah, we kind of talked about that. How they are being more like American-like almost, it seems like, and how, let's see, I'll read what Susanna said. She said, yes, certain standards vary from one culture to another. For example, here in Tonga, fat women are pretty much acceptable in this society because if you're a skinny woman, then people tend to think of you as you don't have that much food to eat and you're identified as being poor. However, in the other cultures that is discussed in the works for the assignment, being fat isn't acceptable in this society and people tend not to pay attention to you and to put you on the mock spot. With the light/white skin is very acceptable in here. Tongan people are really attracted to light skin and people buy whitening products to make their own brown skin look a little lighter. Interesting. So that shows that, like, yeah, I guess, like, it's interesting that, like, if someone's skinny over there, they're like, they identify them as poor because they don't get enough food to eat. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that was like good perspective because we don't, I mean, not being there, yeah, we don't really see like how it is, how the different standards play out. That was kind of cool. Yeah, I wonder what she kind of thought when she was reading the Fat Brown Woman poems, like how that. But yeah, with the like translating from one culture to another, I think like what we talked about before, how some cultures are trying to be like other cultures and like meet those standards, but at the same time, it's like their own standard, like the K-pop. Like idols that they're looking up to, that like they're doing it, and they want to be like them, so it's kind of like their own thing. But yeah, I would say definitely they translate into others, but like each one has like a couple like pretty unique things.
Yeah, I agree. And like even the thing in like that's, I didn't know that over there they like to have lighter skin. That's interesting because here I feel like people want, well, actually no, what's weird is like here, like, so I worked as a lifeguard, I work as a lifeguard like over summers, and like all of the white people there, we're all trying to get super tan, so we're like tanning the whole time, and then all the people that are like Hispanic, they like have towels because they don't want to get darker the whole time. So I feel like it's like almost like normal to just be whatever you're not already. Like people are always like striving for something that they're not. So like white people are always want to look darker. Dark people always want to look lighter. So it's like whatever you are is what you don't want to be almost in some ways.
That's really good. Yeah, I think that like sums it up. Because at first I was thinking like, oh, maybe there's like this middle ground that people are going for. But I think it's mostly like, yeah, you're just like a certain way. And for whatever reason, like how you normally are is not what you eventually want to become. Like you want to, yeah, just be what you can't be.
Yeah. And also, I just thought about like, you know how like, I feel like people with curly hair is often like that. Like people with really curly hair are always like, gosh, I wish my hair was just straight. Like it's so annoying. But a lot of people with like straight plain hair, like, oh my gosh, I'd give anything for like your crazy curly hair. Like it's so easy. And so it's just like, it's always what you aren't already is what people want. So
yeah, totally. Yeah, thinking about getting a perm myself.
Oh yeah, you know, you'd look great. Okay, so next question is how do, I don't know how to say that word, hegemonic racial standards of beauty affect the way people think about themselves or how others think about them? think body shape, think race and culture, think skin tone. So, what was that word? I forgot what that meant.
I don't know.
It's right here though. Somewhere. Oh, okay. It says this means one cultural standard becomes seen as normative or better than others, and it becomes to be copied, and it comes to be copied by others. So, and people may go to great length to change their body to look like what they see as a better body. So, back to the question: how do the racial standards affect beauty, the way that people think about themselves, or how others think about them? Kind of the same thing I feel like we've already talked about.
Yeah, the one thing that like comes to mind is that one teacher, how she was talking about over there, like how she can't say that there's like a standard in America or whatever, but over there it's like there's like certain standards because everybody looks more similar, and how they're pretty open about telling people that they're ugly if they don't have the right nose or right eyes. So I think other than like not feeling pretty or like feeling ugly or I don't know, those are the ones that I'm thinking of, like how they would see themselves or how other people see them.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting too because I always thought that like I could just assume because I feel like America is like or the US is so like hardcore on like everything that I always thought that like our beauty standards were like the worst out of everyone's. But after like like seeing this, I feel like we're not that old. Like especially lately, I feel like we're so like accept everyone, like be who you are. Like I don't know, like you look like Queen Latifah, like everyone thinks she's beautiful and like respects the heck out of her. Yet she's not like the most skinny like poster like model chick. But in Korea, it's like you have to have this, 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 and this, like in order to be considered beautiful. And if you're not, like people just say you're ugly, and like you believe it. People get plastic surgery like, for real all the time. Like it's a normal thing. It's insane to me.
Yeah, that was surprising. Actually, I didn't know that. Like the eye thing and the nose thing, I didn't know that at all. And the jaw, shaving down the jaw.
Yeah. Oh, ow! I did not believe that. That's crazy.
But yeah, so I think exactly what you said.
Yeah. Okay. Do the speakers in the poems think about their appearance in positive or negative ways relative to the standards of beauty? I think in the Black Lady poem, she thought about it as like kind of a negative thing, but in a way where she like had already accepted it. Like she knows that she's that way. Like she wasn't trying to be anything else. She just knows that she's that way. And then I think for the Brown Lady, she was like owning it, kind of like I don't know. Like it didn't seem like it was a negative thing. It was just how she was, and that's like how it went. And then for the other two, like the videos, I don't know. I mean, yeah. Oh wait, I guess she's not asking about the videos. She's just sending the poems.
Just the poems. Yeah, I think the same thing. Like there's just like a different tone in each poem. Like there's the negative. Like in both poems, like you said, they're both accepting it and they both know that's just how they are. And it doesn't seem like they're trying to change to like become up to whatever standards are in their culture. But in the Black one, there's like the negative tone and she's just like, whatever, like I'm just ugly and that's the way I am and I'm not accepted. And then in the Brown one, she's like, she talks about there's a lot of positive things that I was noticing, like no shoes fit her, but that's okay because her feet were made for the earth and like the beautiful ocean. And like, that's how I was made to like enjoy these things. And so just, way more positive about it and like accepting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like the things that like are usually not as like considered beautiful here, and like she would say that, but she would contradict it with like why it's good for her, like it fit her personality type thing, and like what was pretty for her. And for like the Black one, I feel like it wasn't really like that. Like she like talked about like what sucked for her, and then that was like kind of it. And she was just like, oh well, at the end.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, definitely more negative. Okay. What kind of image do they create of themselves based on these different standards of beauty?
Is that what we just talked about?
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to read Susanna's answer too.
Oh yeah.
For the last question, she said, oh wait, I'll go back to that one about the hegemonic. I don't know how to say that. Okay, she said, it affects the way people think about themselves by feeling bad about themselves and feeling unacceptable in the society. However, the women in these poems do not fit into the society's standards of beauty, but they have the right to be proud of themselves by thinking that there is more about beauty other than just perfect body shape. These women are entitled to victory as much as the skinny, sexy body women in the society. So I think that even though you're identified as being fat and have darker skin color, just to keep the heads up and tell yourself that there's more into beauty other than just a fair skin color and a slim body shape. Okay. And then this last question about the positive and negatives in the poems. She said, being a fat woman may be mocked and looks unacceptable generally. However, both the writers in these poems and the songs wanted to remain positive to the fat woman. The speakers are being positive by trying to persuade the fat women that they do not have to feel bad that they're fat. Chubby women at times make fun of by others, but they didn't care as they already know who they are, and no matter what the society gives them, they do not care.
Nice. The skinny, sexy women.
I was like, whoa. Okay. Last question was, what kind of image do they create of themselves based on the different standards of beauty? And she said, the image I'm looking at in these works is that we need to set our perception in mind that everyone is beautiful and unique in their own ways. When we set our perception like that, no one will have time to mock and criticize others, but they will remain calm and respect each other.
Nice. Good insight.
Yeah. So what kind of do they create of themselves based on different standards of beauty? Well, as far as like the Korean women go, like they full on like they do whatever they got to do to be what they want to do or to be who they are.
Yeah, or else they get called out for it.
Yeah, that sucks. And then for the other, for the poems, I feel like they kind of accepted who they were and like were cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think it kind of just like that question kind of just is like what we've been talking about.
Especially for the brown lady, it says like it definitely created an image for her. Like she was like, it was almost like an elegant thing, like how she just walked around, like pranced around, like she was like, I don't know, like everyone was looking at her and stuff. So it's like it made her seem like really, really great.
Yeah.
It kind of gave that. And for the black lady, I feel like it kind of gave her an image as in like, well, you're fat, so bummer. Like that's who you are. So just, I don't know. It's kind of sad actually.
Yeah. I wanted to read a poem about the fat white lady. I was waiting for that one next.
Right?
But yeah, totally. I think that like the image that they make is kind of what we talked about, like the negative and positive, like both accepting, but like one is like what's the word? Hopeful, not hopeful. Some big word that means that she likes who she is.
Confident.
Yeah, confident. Yeah, confident. She knows, and yeah, like I like how you're saying like she creates this image of like big beauty and like why it's beautiful. But,
yeah. Have you ever seen? You probably haven't. Have you ever seen Hairspray, the musical?
Yeah.
You know that one song that Queen? Oh, it's Queen Latifah actually. She sings "Big, Blonde, and Beautiful," and
yeah,
so
yeah,
like huge and like that lady, like the fat lady, John, whatever he is, John Travolta. Like how she just like needs to eat because she's pretty anyways. Like it's, I feel like that is kind of like that kind of thing, like where it's like, oh, you're big, so own it, like do your thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that's it. That was the last question.
Okay, right on. Who you're writing the paper?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Nice.
think I have everything I need. Should be good.
Sweet. Sounds good. I'll send you the link for the video.